Hey, I'm Karen, and I'm the art director and designer of the teen zines at StoryMakers.
Your love is exceptional. It fills me up. It's out of control, out of control. Oh, baby, I love the rush. It overflows. It's out of control, I'm in love.
Mel and I always casually talked about making something for teens someday, and my own personal design style and interests really are geared more towards the teens and college age. I think it's a fascinating span of time where you're experimenting with so much, feeling so much, and you really need good resources and good conversation to help you grow. We kind of thought about what we wished we had as teens. Our heart was to create a resource that helped teens process the world they were seeing and experiencing. I was raised in the suburbs in Delaware. I was raised in a Christian home. I went to a Christian private school. When it came to the teen years, I remember being very curious. My mom says that I always asked her so many questions she got exhausted. And being an artist type, I wanted to push boundaries. I wanted to try things. I wanted to know, what was behind every closed door. What I understood from my environments were like, suppress that, hold that back. That might be sin. As a teen, I really needed a place to show up and say, like, talk about anything, ask any question. Nothing is off limits here. And I think that there's such an opportunity to connect the dots and pull that hard thing you're dealing with right into your faith. I hope this zine will help future teens be able to feel seen. God gave us hearts to be bold and to be courageous and to know that He shows up in every situation. So we first launched Zine 1, The Faith Issue, and this zine walks us through what we believe as Christians. It uses the Apostles' Creed as a structure for the chapters. Next, in Zine 2, The Identity Issue, we're looking at who we are in light of these beliefs. This zine follows the Lord's Prayer. Our kids' zines are full of imaginative, whimsical illustrations, but with our teen zines, we went in a different direction. We really embraced bold graphic design and digital collage. Teens have high standards for design. They are so visually driven and they make strong associations based on what they see. And so it was really important when we designed this zine that we could meet them where they're at and speak their language, that they would get curious and want to open and explore. Mel will come up with the big idea and the chapter titles that give the zine structure. With the chapter titles and the concepts, we get together and brainstorm, and then I take it into mood board phase. So I'll pull from all over the internet, from things I've seen, photos I've taken, and I create a visual guide. This mood board we plug into each chapter to come up with an idea of how we might move forward in our visual language and tackle these concepts with our teens. In the zine, you'll see some original photography, some stock images that we've cut up and used for digital collages, and some distorted scanned patterns and prints. We were pretty inspired with the teen zines to lean into actual zine making tradition, which is something that got big in the 80s, and it was a punk rock movement thing. And so people would take images and poems and words, scan them in, repurpose them, and create little DIY zines to spread ideas and art around. So we loved that, and we wanted to lean into that tradition in the way that we created our teen journal. With the kids zines, we're prompting a lot of play and imagination, but with the teen zines, we really want to get into real talk. In our identity issue, we're jumping right in. We're starting with death. Why are we so wrapped up in identifying ourselves? Well, it has a lot to do with dying. You see, one of the scariest thoughts humans have is the idea that we would cease to exist. We don't want to shy away from hard topics and heavy things. We think this is the place where teens can get into it in a safe space with mentorship and peers that really love them and want the best for them. We're thinking about identity in the context of what you wear, and what you wear being a statement of who you are and what you're thinking, what you think is cool. And so we have a few little prompts where they can draw out and design their own streetwear. We designed these zines intentionally long. There's a lot in here, a lot to do, and there are different ways that you can use it. First one is group processing, talking together about one of the topics in the zine. Parallel processing, where kids are sitting together, but they're in their own world, processing and reflecting on their own. The third is processing on your own at home. Teens spend a lot of time alone in the room, thinking, listening to music, processing. And so we want it to overflow into a teen's life and in their world. You can treat it as a bit of a diary or a journal, something that would live on your shelf for years, and a space to have your own reflections.
Yeah, tell us briefly how you got to know Mel and how you got involved with StoryMakers.
Mel and I met in 2018 through a mutual friend, and she was starting a project at her church and was looking for a designer. I felt like I could tap into her vision and I could see what she was trying to make, a kind of playful, art-forward brand for kids and teens that really helps them process life, and especially social emotional processing. And I was all about that. And I felt like I hadn't really seen that in Christian spaces, at least not done in a way that was very exciting. So when it finally came time to start creating teen content, I was thrilled. Yeah, I think teens know that there's something expected of them, especially in the church setting. So they'll often say what they know the adults want to hear. But the teen zine is actually about touching on some topics that might surprise you, that, you know, are really what you're thinking and feeling. And it's about creating a space where teens know they can actually show up and be themselves. And, you know, we all need a little bit of help to open hard conversations. So these zines are aimed at creating that kind of dialogue and that kind of processing. I really wish I had this as a teen. This would have helped me a lot.
Your love is exceptional. It fills me up.
Thanks so much for joining me behind the zines, and I'll catch you next time, Story Makers.
It